Oh, hello everybody. How are we all? Um, Move that around a bit. um, yeah, hi. Welcome to Hobby Hangout Wednesday Night Warlord. Um, I'm using a lot. I'm sorry. I literally was going through. I was literally going through Instagram as I waited for kick-off time, and a friend of mine who was doing like a Ask Me Anything type thing. I was just going through some of them, and they were saying about, yeah, don't use as a full stop or one thing like that. Take your time, breathe, and address what you're trying to say. And in the last sort of minute of starting, I must have ummed about half a dozen times. I did actually train myself. It's so natural to do just that. Sorry, I'm just realised I'm out of hobby fuel. And basically, when speaking, to even if you just slow down the cadence of the words that you're saying, it allows you to think ahead, plan what you're going to say next, and get it out. And doing it that way helps you not to and So with that, it's just a case of just taking time. It's when you're trying to rush things through and you're being all excitable and stuff like that, that sometimes you can see I'm deliberately taking a little breath to not say and just think things through. It doesn't hurt to pause and to just literally just let the words flow. It's when you're rushing that you import these little stop gaps, and it breaks up, and you're constantly saying So it does take practice. It does come natural, but you just got to take your time, take a breath, and get your words out. In small doses work, but you don't have to just continuously throwing words across everywhere. Oh. But yeah, it's been a hard few. Well, it's been a hard week at the forge. There's work has been really in where I work. There is a busy phase of the year, which is the lead up to Christmas. It sounds weird, because I work in the flooring industry, but people are surprised when you say people just go mad and crazy to get their flooring, carpet, whatever on the floor before Christmas, because they've either got friends or relatives coming to stay, or they're having people over, so they want to give that, yeah, we've got it all lovely. And most people say, why do it before Christmas? Because if you're having people over, they're going to trash the place. Yes, but it doesn't stop people. There's more people that want to do that before Christmas than there is after Christmas, sort of thing, in a way. But because in recent months, one of the big flooring suppliers in the UK went bust, we're now getting more people coming to the store. So our busy period has started earlier. And we're only a small franchise sort of thing. And when you're trying to do your normal work, so like your paperwork and deliveries, booking in, stuff like that, as well as sell, as well as pulling the jobs for the fitters the next day, and then the phone's going constantly, and currently like the boss has been off for about a week or a half sort of thing. So that all has, you know, quite a lot of sort of pressure and stress on an individual, because we've had to sort of do like singular days. Like today I was working on my own. It didn't help that when I was doing a purchase takeaway where we got to cut some flooring off the rolls, fold it up, take it to a customer's car, I hurt my back, sort of thing. Just twinged it, but it's noticeable, because once that happens, everything else becomes a lot harder to do. You know, when you can move around normally, it's, you know, it's not bad, but once that starts kicking in, it's yeah, it's just a nightmare. So yeah, it was a really tough day, a long day as well. I've had a few early days, and I haven't been getting enough sleep either, because I've been waking up in the middle of the night for some strange reason. And now I've shared that, so I feel better for that. Thank you very much for those who are there to stay here for the last 6-7 minutes. Listen to me. And right, so what we got here, if this could actually do some focusing for a change. No, it's not going to focus. Okay. So these guys, and I'm doing it again. Lead Belcher spray, and then it's Magos Purple to give you the base purpley look on them. We've got to pick out the lead. I'm going to stop myself every time I do it. I'm going to pick out the lead belcher area, so the bolter, and then you've got to do some Corvus black onto the casing of it. And any sort of like tassely bits here, they're going to be in standard Mechanicus grey. We've got some Corax white to be applied on certain areas, Liberated gold here, there and everywhere, and some dollops of bits and pieces to make these work, to make these actually do something. Let's just find some paints and get started with something at least. So let's turn that noise down a little bit more, because that's probably a little bit more what we need. Really, so this is annoying because this camera is a new camera and it's all meant to be like 4K and awesome. Oh, now it works. It's just as about to rip into it and go, oh yeah, this is a piece of shit. But when it works, it works. When it doesn't work, it doesn't work, which is annoying. So, Power axe. This dude's got a little plasma pistol and a power fist because he's a big boy. Yes, you are. You're a big boy amongst tiny dudes. So that's on there. I haven't actually painted an infantry for Legions Imperialis for several months. So it's, I know what I'm doing, but it's doing what I should be doing, and just remembering my little phases that I'd set out, because you get little routines, because I know how to do this. I'll do it this way, I'll do it that way, and it makes it a lot easier when you're like nudging the camera out the way. That's always great. But it's not a tricky little thing. They're tiny, yes, but you just take your time, get a nice little brush. Now I'm using lead belcher, but I'm using lead belcher air, so I do tend to do that with these guys, so you don't lose too much of the detail. But as I say, it's just rinse and repeat, really. Just get the bits that you want to get done with the paints that you're using, and then go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. So it does sort of add up as you progress with your tiny little space dudes. But they're I'm doing the again, damn it. Like when we've done streams before, normally if I was doing a long session, I would probably get these painted and then start basing them as well. And it just depends on how well my back holds out, really, because obviously painting slightly slouched, I would say, just a smidge slouchy, and it does take a little bit of time. Even though they're just little bits of paint, it still takes time, and trying to stay within lines. Plus we have to do the reverse as well, so that all sort of like adds up to your time. And they keep on doing this where they'll turn them upside down. You know, you get used to one direction and then another direction turns up. Totally ruins your day. Also, these guys have holsters that you have to pick out. So I will be going over a lot of these, aka all of these, to pick out the little holsters. You can just, if that could actually focus. No, you're not going to. You're not going to, are you? Oh, there you go. You can just see on that leg, that little holster thing there above its knee. Yeah, they've all got bloody holsters. So you got to go and get them, because OCD makes it that way. But in some respects, it's like when I paint Titan trim. You get into like a Zen-like, trance-like state, and you just go along painting, and next minute, oh, I've done it. So that's always worthwhile. Now, I haven't bothered with any eye lenses, because I can't see that well, even with like magnifying, as we call them, sex goggles. I can't see that small, and I don't think my hand would be that great at that level of detail. Trying to get into these bits and put in eye lenses, having a nightmare. I go into a hobby, into a trance painting Chaos and Imperial Knights trim. Exactly. You know the joy of trim. That sounds wrong. Or incredibly right. It depends on your viewpoint. But there are certain like elements within the hobby where you know what you've got to do. It's a monotonous job. Like as I said, most people with Titans moan about the amount of trim, especially on like AT stuff. Oh, so much trim. But that is part of the parcel. But you can make it easier, like especially once you're down on your technique or scheme that you're going for. It does make it a lot easier. Also, especially in regards to Titans, certain Titan Legios like have silver trim. So if you're using, like I normally do, I spray it all lead belcher, it's half the battle won. Then just a little bit of like dry brushing with some other like Runefang steel or something like that, washes, and just doing it, especially on Titans and small guys in general. It doesn't have to be hard, and it can, as I said, be quite zen-like in some respects. Good evening from a very cool and scenic Isle of Wight. Your vid is out of focus. Yeah, it's small dudes, dude. You are sharp and in focus, by the way. Thank you very much, Arnold. And I hope you're enjoying your tour. Scale 75 metallics helps. Such good coverage. Same goes for Night Skeletons. Yeah. The Vallejo Metal series is a godsend. I do have a Vallejo Gold somewhere. I actually, because the pots, so that's a Vallejo Gold. I'll put them into this because it's unscrewing the caps and stuff like that. So at least you can get in there. So, and I've got it is similar to Retributor, well / Retributor Slow Liberator, but it's a lot more fluid, so it does sort of go on a lot smoother. Yeah, I was saying about the camera earlier on. It does take a time to actually like focus, especially with the small dudes, because as soon as I sort of move, it's going to go out of focus again. He says, and it doesn't. You bastard. So, yeah. So where we went, lead belcher, then just slapped on the Magos purple contrast, and now doing lead belcher air for its thinness on here. I'll be doing a little dab of Corvus black on the casing. Once we've locked in the colours, other colours as well, so like as I said, any Mechanicum Standard Grey, Liberator Golds, Corax White, and anything else for that matter, I will be going over them with my 50-50 mix Agrax water, and that ties it together nicely. And I did sort of do a little like sort of conscientious dab of Drushi Violet on the plates themselves, so not all over the place, but just generally like the bigger like leg greaves and shoulder pads sort of thing, just to give it a little bit more of sharpness sometimes, because it depends on the mix of the Agrax and water. Sometimes it can be a little bit too much, but yes. I quite fancy Imperialis, more of a kill team scene in my area, so no one plays. Yeah, and that's the thing, you with something like this, you want to have that, hold on, what's going on there? Music suddenly stopped. Yeah, I'll continue watching. Weird. Sorry. It does help with your motivation to paint up an army, to get, bloody hell, I'm just catching myself on everything now, but being able to, working as a project with friends, it does make it a lot easier to motivate yourself, because you know that Dave and John are going to be doing their legions, and they're going, oh, look what I've done, look what I've done. And you go, oh, well, they're doing that, I better get on with my stuff. And it does help sort of get you to sort of, you know, get your head in the game and progress with your projects. It's a little bit too much, that. So let's spread that around quick on that dude, and that missile launcher, and that combi bolter. This combi bolter. But when there's not that sort of scene going on, it's more of a personal project, so you don't sort of you know, rush through, and there's no point sort of thing, unless you know other people and you can jump in and get a game. And you know, that's the biggest motivator, is building an army for an event. You know, that really does sort of even if it's not like, you know, like a campaign game setting or something like that, you want to get those charismatic characters and build an army that you think, yeah, this is going to look cool. Because that's the whole thing when you have these games and you're meeting up with people at an event, or you know, an organised get together, you want your stuff to stand out and look good on the tabletop. You know, that's why there's always been that thing about, like, you turn up to an event and somebody's just got black undercoat. You know, it's a bit disappointing, because I like to take photographs, as some of you already know, and see little scenes where you've got your squad of Astartes versus your mates of, you know, infantry units or whatever they've got, and you want to like take little snapshots of the battle, but it does sort of bring the mood down a little bit. And I did hear recently, like, somebody at an event refused to play somebody. You know, again, it wasn't like a main sort of, you know, like GW type thing, but it was, you know, an event still. People have spent time and money to, you know, get their armies to a nice looking standard, because you want the other person to think, yeah, that was a really good game, but that guy's stuff or that girl's stuff was really awesome. So, you know, it's just like a contract, an unspoken agreement to, you know, play your best game without being a dick, and, you know, bring an army that people can go, oh wow, I really like what you've done there, and inspire others. And obviously some people don't see that, they don't bother, which is a shame, because it does sort of, it doesn't add to the fun. It's a game, but there's always that little sense of like realism. Like, I still talk about to people about games I had sort of 15 years ago, you know, of the little incidents, or this particular thing happened, and you've like been kicking ass, and maybe you're playing Tau, and your little squad of drones have killed Ragnar Blackmane. You know, unlikely, but it happens. But yeah, so, and you say, it's like, I always remember going to the Black Library, not Black Library, the Forge World Horus Heresy Weekenders, Horus Heresy Weekenders, in fact, and listening to Alan Bligh, John French, Guy Haley, Andy Hoare, Tony Cottrell, and all that sort of thing. Most notably was Alan Bligh, because obviously he was the driving force behind like the Heresy. and he's still to this day sadly missed. Not just because of what he did in the Heresy book series, but because he was a really nice guy. I've met him like loads of times, little chats, and he was like us, everyone here. We're all hobbyists. We all love our little sort of factions and things, and they like to hear the little stories and they share some of theirs. And I always remember, like, in this one particular thing, they were talking about a character who was the chapter master of the Space Wolves before Russ turned up. So he was the overall commander of the Space Wolf Legion, and then they found Russ or whatever, but he was killed in battle against like this Orc warlord, and he was killed in a certain way. And basically, Alan said that actually happened when he was a teenager playing with his friend in the front room on the floor, with some like random bits of items of stuff that they used as scenery. It even included Zoids. So for the older of us here, Zoids was you remember them, younger people, they were like little like robotic things that you wind up and they're going, or they'd walk across the thing, like dinosaur shaped robot sort of thing. They're really cool. But he was like playing this game, and this was the thing. It was the Space Wolves versus the Orcs. And when he was older, he's basically the end of that battle where this Space Wolf captain was killed by the Orc Warlord. He used that and included that into the setting of the Horus Heresy, which is and that's where they draw a lot of their inspiration from. And it's really cool when you hear that coming from them. You think, well, I do that all the time, and you just get invested more. And it's just a wonderful, that's why there's so many people that like Heresy, because of all that background and depth it has there. Hey, hello, hi Emily, how are you? I need you to teach me all about the lore. I'll do my best. I'm not too bad. I know a lot of stuff. That all my investment into the Horus Heresy series of books and bits and pieces, and you just pick this. I just retain information. So yeah, no worries. Like I'm definitely be able to help out on that, especially with like Emperor's Children, because they are awesome. Incidentally, this is who was it? It was the Australian guys. One of their podcasts. Damn it, I can't remember what the name of the podcast is. Damn it. So it's not the Inner Circle with Macca. It's like a couple of his like people that know him. They do the Horus Heresy podcast or whatever, and they were going through all the legions and like talking about them, and this is something that I'd overlooked, but in the black books that Fordwell brought out, they said the Emperor's Children are the best legion. And that's a fact, because it actually says it in one of the books that they brought out. I think it was the book 2, Massacre. So it's actually written in there when they're doing like the background. It actually says like the Emperor's Children are the best legion. So that's good enough for me. I'll take that. I can help with Dark Angels. That's probably the extent of my knowledge. But that's the thing. It's like every legion has its own little, bits and pieces of lore and background that's unique to their sort of character, and that does, add something more to them. Hey, Edvin, right there, buddy. And when with the Heresy, like you've got 18 legions to choose from. It's finding something that resonates with you. Like for me, Emperor's Children I like because they're purple. I love purple. But again, it's like the characters within the series like Soltarvitz, Lucius, um, Demeter, Vespasian, Eidolon, who is such a douchebag. Such a douchebag. But in the game, his character in the game is brilliant. In my opinion, anyway. Like, I've used him, and now I've killed Gulliman with Eidolon, coming in with his magic hammer. My mate's a massive fan of Emperor's Children. His Chaos Knights have got Demonette pole dancing on top of them. Now, you know, that's the thing, is with Slaanesh, it's always been associated with, you know, most of them, yeah, they had models which had, you know, very multi-bits sort of thing, you know, like Demonettes and stuff like that, and Beasts of Slaanesh and all that sort of thing. And they were sort of like, people say, oh yeah, because it's all about sex. But it's not, it's about excess. So you could have a Slaaneshi dude who eats excessively. It doesn't have to be going around banging everything. It could be like someone that just eats and gets pleasure from eating and then making himself gross and horrible looking. But they get that thing from it. It's excess in all its forms. So, you know, pushing up to 11, they push it up to 22. That feeling. That's exactly why I love EC2. Exactly, you know, they are groovy, and it's like the lore, like the thing that I find quite funny, especially with like the Siege of Terror, is the fact that all these traitor forces finally get to Terror, and the Emperor's Children don't really do a lot on the front lines for the most part. They do get involved in certain things later on, but most of the time on Terror, they are going around collecting up people and basically having a wild time, sort of thing, pushing the envelope of excess. The traitor ones, obviously, the loyalist ones aren't doing that one, and there's only a few of them about. I believe, if you weren't aware, loyalists, Emperor's Children, went on to form the Red Scorpions. So that's a bit weird, because you go, but they're grey and they have a scorpion on them. But loyalist Emperor's Children formed Red Scorpions. So obviously not going to go around, oh yeah, we're going to call ourselves Emperor's Children. No, because you've got that shame of all the bad dudes, sort of thing. But, you know, Emperor's Children are, they're just great. Revealing models, yes. Although they've dulled that side down a bit more, and they are basically, you know, they got rid of Slaanesh in the old world, but now it's coming back in again. The other interesting thing about Slaanesh is it's the youngest Chaos God. The Emperor is older than Slaanesh. Not the concept of Slaanesh, but Slaanesh was born by the fall of the Eldari or Elder Empire, because where they all fell decadence and all that sort of stuff, they birthed a god, sort of thing. Wahey, Slaanesh. And Slaanesh's birth scream resonated across the galaxy, because at the time it was the Age of Strife, when there was all these warp storms everywhere, and his birth scream blew the storms apart, which then led to the Emperor going, hey, it's stopped raining, let's go outside and conquer the galaxy. And the Great Crusade started. So the birth of the Eldari's god, well, you know, not their god, but the god Slaanesh. And that paved the way for the Emperor to go and send his legions across the galaxy to conquer it and reclaim humanity's. Yeah, because the humans are already out there, because they've been out there once before. I'm interested to see where the lore goes in 40k with the ECTs at the weekend. Yes. So, one of the things I've been saying for the last year and a half, since Fulgrim was released, the Fulgrim Ascendant model, was that it's the first Chaos Primarch. Was Horus? Did Horus come out first, or was Fulgrim? Horus came out first, then Fulgrim. But he was like the first demon Primarch, because Horus isn't technically a demon Primarch; he's just Horus Ascended. So a demon Primarch, which is the four of Angry Ron, Mortarion, and Magnus. So Forge World produced their Primarch models, and they've always said, even from the very first seminar when they released Betrayer, and I was in that seminar, and Tony Cottrell said, we will be producing all the Primarchs, plus we will be doing their Chaos, demon forms, and because they're doing that, there will be a model of the Emperor. Now that was 13, 14 years ago when this all kicked off at Games Day. So whether or not we'll still get an Emperor model, who knows? They might change their mind. But Forge World bringing out the resin model of Fulgrim, because you also already had plastic versions of obviously the other three, so they had to get that out first for people to buy, because they were going to be bringing out a plastic version. So that plastic version is going to be coming out with the Emperor's Children stuff. So they've had that out for like 18 months now, so people would buy the resin one, because it is a stunning model. I didn't get it purely for the fact that, one, it's a lot of money, but it's also, I would end up, those wings, I'm scared. Those little pointy bits. So I would definitely break that. But when they bring out the version for 40k, that might float my boat, because it's still a demon Primarch of Fulgrim. So yeah, I'd use it. It's also funny that I've got obviously the original Fulgrim, not loyalist, but the Billy Idol version. I love EC, the definition of passion project. Yeah, exactly. And I'm working on mine. It's a scary piece. Yeah, and that's too scary for my blood. I'll appreciate what everybody else is doing with them, but I know that if I got it, it would not stay in one piece. Something would happen, because I'm not clumsy. It's just like I'm just unlucky, I guess. So yeah, it's something that I'm not going to do. Good evening, lads, and any lasses here. How is everyone? Yeah, I'm alright. I was just talking about Emperor's Children, because I love Emperor's Children. I have in Heresy. I don't have them in 40k. I don't really have any 40k armies anymore. I've got like Skitari, but I'd rather use them in Heresy if at all possible, because I do have a high capacity of like Sekitari as well as Cybernetica and stuff like that. I'm building stuff for Drop Fleet Commander, a London class dreadnought. Ooh, nice. I don't think I've seen the London class dreadnought. So I've got some Drop Fleet Commander. I bought because I love the USCM ships, because I love spaceships. Spaceship. So I got some of them years ago. I was trying to get my mate had an Avalon, because I thought, because he'd done the Kickstarter. I didn't know about it. I've only done one Kickstarter, and that's BattleTech, and I'm waiting for that to turn up with the BattleTech Mercenaries. But I've never played Drop Fleet Commander. I had no intention of playing Drop Fleet Commander, but I just like spaceships. So I got myself the like fleet pack, I think. So you get like a couple or two or three capital ships and then a load of frigate types to run around and do stuff with. But yeah, it's I just say even like the later fleets that they've brought out are really pretty cool as well. I've got obviously my dystopian wars fix and habit still going. Also painted my Titan heat tool. Excellent. Oi, oi, Lee. Hello. How are you, my little Ben? Hey, Ben, catch. Oh, ouch, my knee. Building UCM, PHR, and resistance ships to build a triumvirate fleet. I do like the post-human republic as well. That was one of the other factions that sort of drew me towards them, but I just like the brutal sort of like aliens-esque feel of the UCM. Because I used to years ago, I used to run the Aliens roleplay game. And I did like a very long campaign with my friends, and I used to skip. I love naming ships and stuff like that, and I actually used to draw out what these ships look like based on the sort of aesthetics of the Sulaco. So like I'd do like like a ship identification thing. So I did actually do that with certain ships like the Yorktown class, like strategic carrier, the Georgetown. No, Lexington. Sorry, not Georgetown. Lexington. Yeah, so like I just made up a load of names and just made up fantasy make believe game, a little bit more in depth and interesting. It seemed like the thing to do at the time. I enjoyed myself, and everyone else seemed to like it, so it paid off. That's what matters. What are you doing tonight, Ben? Just realised I missed stuff there. Oh, how dare I? Well enough. Cheers, mate. Hope you're having a good evening. I'm having a better one now that you're all here. Everyone's here, and it's lovely. Oh, I haven't seen the Bioficers. Painting a base for my Gorilla Man. Is that Gulliman or actual Gorilla Man? Go for the back. All right, okay. I did wonder, just in case you might have done something different and actually have a gorilla to paint. All is welcome. So it's little bits like that detailing on the back that you sort of try and get off the bed now. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Lee. Thank you very much, and thank you for dropping in. It's lovely to have you here, and we will sort out an educational visit. I don't know. We'll chat. You get your people to talk to my people talk to your people, and we'll sort it out. And we'll do some lawness. That's a thing, right? Lawless or lawlessness? No, lawless, law. Um, but sweet dreams. I'll speak to you later. Bye night. I'll tag you on Instagram for what the ships look like for both London class and the Biophysers. Maybe we will see you paint some of your ships on the stream in the future. Maybe. That's the thing. It's like there's no sort of set schedule with my painting. It's whatever I've got to hand and whatever takes my fancy, really. Like I've got down the side here, I've got the Armoured Clash stuff that I got sent out for review. So the Crown faction, which is my faction, my main faction anyway. I'm not planning on doing a huge sort of exploitive sort of army of everything with them. I'm just happy with my Crown, and that will do me. So once some of my buddies get some of their forces, because like there's friends that play Dystopian Wars, are generally getting their main factions in Armoured Clash, so it makes sense. So you have a sea battle, and then you can have a dust up on the land as well. So that'll be interesting. I did watch the On the Tabletop, which is really, really good. On the Tabletop did like play Armoured Clash, and it's got James Hewitt, who was one of the rules writers for Armoured Clash, playing on the tabletop. They play one round, and they show like how it all breaks down, and it's actually really quite interesting. I really like. Thank you, Millie. Really, it's got a nice bit of like granularity to it, and they're trying to make it as sort of realistic as possible in some respects. So like morale and stuff like that, because obviously if you fail morale, you're not going to be at your best. So that is reflected in how you fight. So sometimes it's not just about obliterating an enemy. It's like pew, 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 and hurting them to disrupt their ability to shoot you. And get the old pew pew pew. And like certain units, like tanks, are maybe better against other tanks than not necessarily against infantry. So you frames your strategicness, your tactical awareness. If you've got like a couple of units in front of you of infantry and some tanks, you're going to go, well, I'm not going to get as good a shot using a armor piercing round against a group of infantry because I'm an anti-tank tank. You might get infantry tanks which are better against infantry and not so much against tanks, but that's what you've got to take into account. So it makes you make those important decisions. Plus, with the cards that they use as part of the game, that can actually have an effect. So if you're playing a big game, because you have a deck of 60 cards, and you draw so many at a turn, and you can use them to either buff or try and get like points on an objective or something, or an additional thing. So like if you destroyed a unit, you can whack down one of these cards and get an extra victory point sort of thing. So it adds a little bit of an incentive in some respects, in that respect. But it also, you've got to be wary, because once you're out of cards, then you can't affect the battle as much as you could do just by rolling dice. So there is a synergy to it as well. But yeah, it's a 42-minute video. It came out, I think, start of the week or at the weekend. So it goes through like a small battle. So each side has a tank unit, infantry unit, and a whatever sort of thing. So it just showed you what these units' capabilities are, what happens with, like, they might have some special rules in them, sort of thing. So it gave you a good sort of sense of how this game plays out. And you know, with that, you know, I thought, oh, I like the sound of that. That sounds pretty cool. So I know, for example, like you've got 3 different tiers of units. So you have your base unit. So like infantry might have 4 bases. So each one's like one, you know, like unit or whatever. So that's like a minimum unit. Then you can have a large unit, so it's double that, and then it's like same again. So like you go 4, 8, 12. So a full unit is 12. So that gives you other sort of you know, abilities with your shooting and stuff like that sort of thing, and how the resistance and all that sort of bits and pieces. So I'm going to watch it again, just to get my sort of head round the process, because I learn better from those sort of things, like watching or having something explained to me whilst playing, than I do from just simply reading. But yeah, he does definitely have some interesting things there, and obviously with the model range, you know, they're 10 mil, so they're slightly bigger than these dudes, and it does allow you to get a little bit more detail on them, even though they're small. They're tiny, but it does make it that a little bit more characterful when you're doing little paint schemes and stuff. I'm going to head off and play some Space Marine 2. Looking forward to seeing these Standing Marines finished. Have a good night. You two Heretic hobbies, go and slaughter your enemies, be they Marine in PvP or, you know, Xenos and Marine. Yes, I was playing that earlier on in the week and enjoyed myself immensely. Still love that game. Really need them to up the unit size. It doesn't feel just free, just because the captain says, I can only give you 3. No, we want more. Give us more. Give us more. Beep, 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 beep. Nozzles on those plasmas. I really need to get my whole what are they? Hell blasters I haven't even started all Hell Blasters in my Space Marine 2 weapons. Just been going with, like, I've been playing heavy quite a lot, so I'm about level 21. So I love a heavy bolter. Heavy bolters are awesome. I've been enjoying heavy bolterness and the slaughtering that comes with heavy boltering people. Well, Thousand Suns and Tyranids wise, it's very enjoyable. Doop 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 doop. I was off there. Ba ba da ba ba. Jump pack. So, see, we got the little bits of gold, and the see, you can see where I put the Mechanicus Standard Grey and white shoulder pads with gold trim. So we've got that to look. Oh, beg your pardon. I accidentally hit the switch. Right, so that's the lead belcher. element done. Thank God for that. Oh, stretch me back. Yeah, so I was saying it's been happy hump day, and it's downhill from now. For the weekend at least. Not that that means anything to me, because I have my days off on a Monday and Tuesday. So it's yeah. I always work weekends, so it's like, yeah. Everyone, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm not. I'm working. Ooh. Right. Find me some paint. The right paint. So it has been a long bloody day as well. Ouch. So what are you lot up to this coming week? I'll just say, well, I definitely won't be on Saturday. I've got two, I'll say parties. Well, basically, I've got my friend's 50th on Friday night, so I'm going to see them. Happy birthday and stuff. And then on the Saturday, I'm going to my friend Brian's for a birthday barbecue at his. So hopefully it's not going to be rainy. That will put a real dampener on the thing. It's also the same Brian that I will be visiting the end of the month for the annual birthday roleplay weekend, and where we're playing Spelljammer, and I'm a bard. So that's the first time I've ever played a bard. So that's going to be interesting, to say the least. Cool. Try and get the crossguard in gold. Let's make it looks nicer. I'm painting frenzily to get my EC army ready for MWW the weekend after this. Getting sweaty. As I was saying earlier on, that is the greatest incentive for painting. Yes, there is pressure, but it's a good pressure, because then you can achieve awesomeness. Just catching the edges. Like me painting all Cursed City for FriendCon that no one wanted to play. Oh, I thought you played it. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. But you got it painted, that's all that matters. You set yourself a target, you've got it done, and now it's there, ready to go whenever you're ready to go. Oh, bless him. I've played it since. I just chuckle at my self-set deadline that didn't matter. Well, it did matter in some respects, but as I said, it's a good incentive to get that painting done. And now it's done, and you've got your Cursed City all ready for whenever you play again, which you already have. One does not care where the incentive comes from, as long as you obey the incentive and you get shit done. See, it's weird because with these guys, there's no incentive for me painting it. I just want to paint it because it was there and it's been begging to be painted. The last of my Emperor's Children infantry. So it's like these are my Imperial Fists. So, you know, I've got all these little dudes running around causing mayhem. So 4 sprues worth of infantry. So I think that's enough. He says, I hope it's enough. Still got other things to finish off though, obviously. I know I've got off screen, but I need to be able to see what I'm bloody doing with this. So, I'll be back in a sec. Bear with me, please. Sorry. cracking old tag on the beard. I've got to trim this. I really got to do something about it. It's getting a little bit out of hand. Right, some corrects. What have we got? Different one. I say different one. I've got a couple, but one of them's a little bit more capable of being runny. So, Booba Shaker time activation. Might be a bit more. I need to get some more. I have got some somewhere. The little, they call it agitators, but they're little metal balls. Actually, I think I know where they are. It's called them. Wow. First time. That's a bit better. Well, not so chalky. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, this is a great idea. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, mate, enjoy. Well, thank you for dropping in, my little friend. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening. And I'll catch up with you soon, I suppose. At some point. Do have to be careful when painting on the sprue, because sometimes, depending on where you're holding said sprue, you could inadvertently punch out one of the little dudes, which obviously they have to come out at some point, but not when you really need them not to. Don't know, it's just me, you, and some other bloke. Hashtag sad painter noises. Well, could be worse. Anything can be worse at the end of the day. Nice, dude right at the top. Say this. You get all sorts of people dropping in. So everyone is always welcome. Make sure you close the door after you. Don't let the heat out. Ooh. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yosh. What's the league? Right. Splendid. Splendid. Glass. I can't find that mechanical standard drum. Look over there. Booba sugar. Now we're a simple lonely force. Said we are just here existing in the moment. A paintbrush glancing across some loincloth. Now don't. That way lies madness. Like I say, it fluctuates. People come in, people go out. As I said, there's no problem if you just want to visit. Just pop in, see what's going on. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It's no problem. We are here as an all-encompassing, welcoming group of hobbyists. But yeah, it does go up and down, mate. So I wouldn't stress it. Brass. Shame my pile of opportunity doesn't go up and down that fast. Yeah, it's there in the background, always staring at you. Funnily enough, I was just checking the notification on there. Richard Gray, who's basically he's painting Fulgrim, which he started a while back. I know he was doing something, and unfortunately his father died. So this was going to be at the start of the year. I think it was one of the Golden Demon things that was happening out in the States or whatever. He'd been working on Fulgrim, and as I said, his father died untimely. and obviously that has an effect on your painting as well as everything else in life. But he's back on that after Essen for the next Golden Demon. And he said, it's a tough model to paint. I've already broken some bits. At least he'll pop out in the cabinets. I'm painting him so he doesn't even need to have a light on him. And yeah, he's such a good painter. He really is. He's a master of his craft and his art. And yeah, he's definitely worth, if you don't follow him, which I doubt, I think everybody would follow him. He's definitely worth checking out anyway. But Richard Gray and his Fulgrim, if that doesn't win anything, I would be surprised. Ross. Right, I'm going to actually call it there because I'm struggling to keep awake. I need to catch up on some sleep because I have not been having a great time of things, unfortunately. And as I said, it's been a very hectic few days, well, week and a bit really, at work. So we've got some more details done. I'll continue doing this, and as I said, I won't be on this Saturday, unfortunately, so I'll be back to next Wednesday for the next hangout. I hope that you have a great rest of the week, whatever you're doing, and an awesome weekend. And I will see you on the other side. So keep up the good work, Edwin, and Plastic Painter. It's just me mentioning Edwin's here. So yeah, I will catch you all again next week and see you on social medias and stuff. And I'm going to go look at some UCM ships before I'm going to crash out. So take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Ta-ta.